New York Mets fans got it all wrong when it comes to Pete Alonso. I've been seeing a lot of people saying he's not worth the money he's asking for, and I have a retort, and that is it's not about what he's worth, okay? It's about how much is a World Series worth to you. To me, it's worth whatever you can pay. It's worth a blank check, okay? That's what it's worth to me. And I'm 28 years old. I have never seen the Mets win a World Series. It has been 38 years since the Mets last won a World Series back in 1986. 38 years, guys. That's a long time. In my whole lifetime, I have not seen them win a World Series, and I would like to see them win a World Series. And I'm sorry, but the chances of them winning a World Series increase immensely if Pete Alonso is in the lineup. You want to talk about the low batting average? Okay, fine. You want to talk about the fact that his stats have decreased year after year? Okay, fine. But not for nothing. 34 home runs is the worst he's ever had. And that's obviously not counting the shortened pandemic season, right? He had less, but it was a shortened season because of the pandemic. So 34 home runs in a full season is the worst he's ever done. Sign me up. Sign me up for the worst Pete Alonso possible, because if 34 home runs is the worst, I'll take that. I will take 34 home runs. I will. I will take 88 RBIs. I will take, this guy historically hits over that, with over 100 RBIs and things like that. Like he drives runs in. He hits the ball. He hits the ball hard. He hits the ball out of the park. You get what I'm saying here? He's a legitimate deep ball threat who pitchers have to look out for in the lineup. If you insert Pete Alonso in any lineup, the pitcher has to be mindful that this guy can take you yard at any given pitch. Any given pitch, he can hit a home run. The one legitimate criticism I have of Pete Alonso is his weight management. He is overweight. He has been getting more and more overweight, and he's going down the path of a Prince Fielder. He's going down the path of a Ryan Howard. And, I would rather see him hold on to longevity and be able to play first base at a moderate level, at an average level of first base, rather than see him relegated to a DH position. Outside of that, all he's got to do, in my eyes, is lose 15 to 25 pounds. If he does that and he trims up, he's back. He's back. And again, it's not how much he's worth. It's how much a World Series is worth, because I could say the same thing about Juan Soto not deserving over $700 million. I mean, guys, the New York Mets, they bowed down to Francisco Lindor and they paid him, and Francisco Lindor was an outsider. They bowed down to Juan Soto and they paid him, and he was an outsider. Now it's time to pay your long-term employee, your employee with seniority. Now it's time to pay the guy who was representing you in the home run derby when the Mets really had nothing to cheer for at all. The Mets weren't, in contention, and they were a team that didn't have much to root for, except for Pete Alonso, their young first baseman who is the second fastest player ever to hitting 100 home runs. And I also believe he's the second fastest player ever to hitting 150 home runs. And if he does get re-signed by the Mets, he will go down as the greatest, most prolific home run hitter in New York Mets history, which is a very nice thing to have, right? It would be very nice for the Mets to be able to say, oh, one of our players have hit over 500 home runs. The first Met player to ever do so. You get what I'm saying here, guys? The Mets drafted him. The Mets, brought him up, raised him, so to speak. We're watching the guy grow up in front of our eyes. Pay the man. You paid Brandon Nimmo. You paid everybody else, but when it's time for him, now all of a sudden we're pinching pennies and saying, oh, he's not worth it. Again, I could say Juan Soto's not worth the contract that he got. He got a record-breaking deal. And he's not a two-way player in the sense of a Shohei Ohtani who can pitch and hit. And, some people say he's a decent glove. I know he's a Gold Glove finalist, Mr. Juan Soto, but, he has had some bloopers. And in the World Series, we saw the Dodgers test his arm, and, his arm wasn't there at some points. He doesn't have a cannon on him. He's an all right fielder. It's more his hitting that you're paying for. and you paid record prices for him. Why not make Pete Alonso the highest paid first baseman in baseball? How much is a World Series worth to you? That's the question. And a lot of people are missing that. I think it's a shame that the Mets fans and their front office are turning on this guy. I think it's a shame that Met fans don't understand the frustration behind being a long-term guy. Okay, he's a long-term guy, and he's getting passed over, and he's being expected to take a deal. You know what I'm saying? How come Francisco Lindor didn't have to take a deal? How come Juan Soto didn't have to take a deal? You know? Now all of a sudden Pete Alonso's time to resign and he got to take a deal? How bad do you want to win a World Series? Because I promise you, Pete Alonso in the lineup, the legitimate home run threat that he is going to increase your chances immensely. When you have opposing pitchers knowing that, okay, we got Francisco Lindor to look out for, we got Juan Soto to look out for, and now we got this guy, Pete Alonso, to look out for, who, again, can take any of us yard on any given pitch. It makes you think. It makes them pitch to the lineup differently. And I just don't see how you guys don't get that. Let me know in the comment section what you think, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. It truly doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.